Hey again, it's been a while. Looks like we're back on Pavlov, and I'm just going to go over everything again because a lot of things have changed, including my controllers. I am currently using uh, index controllers, and I also use XF's overlay so I can see various things I have no idea what it does. I can also play music and other stuff, but that's a thing for a different video that I'm definitely not going to do ever. Um, Yeah, so I missed a whole bunch of stuff in my last video about this game, and a lot of things have changed too. So, when you first install the game, what you want to do is actually play the tutorial. Like, play the tutorial. Dear God, play the tutorial. I'll just run through again. So, like last video, Dave is going to interrupt me now.
Welcome to the Pavlov tutorial. To use the radio, place your hand near your ear and hold the trigger.
Yep, so, yeah, trigger. It's the same for all of the controllers. Quest 2, Rift, Index, Vive ones, you pull a trigger on your ears.
To
And
sprint, click in your movement joystick while pressing forward. Make
now
sure to
they
keep your
actually
weapon
remove
low.
that. They actually
To
remove
open
that.
the buy menu, click in the thumbstick with your dominant hand.
Okay, so something I should mention about sprinting is they actually removed the sprint button on the latest update. Now it hasn't been announced, but it's basically a save your joystick. Make sure auto sprint is on in your settings. So if I open up here, go settings, make sure auto sprint is on. So what happens is when you put your gun down, you should automatically start sprinting. Now that was a #1 comment on my last video, how do you sprint? That's how. You make sure your gun's facing down. You're looking straight forward because I know sometimes when looking down, it counts you as crouching and you don't run. Another thing too that could cause you not to sprint is your height might get messed up when launching a game. See, Pavlov calculates your height at your max point. So if your height gets messed up when you launch the game and you're like suddenly 10 feet tall, you'll always be crouching. So if you find you can't sprint, try restarting your game and hopefully that'll fix the height issues. Alright, so buy menus. Now this is the same on all controllers except Vive ones. You basically push in on your right joystick. You can also rebind that to a different key. I still use the default pushing in. They're showing the left controller here, but you push in on the right joystick to open up your buy menu.
To close the buy menu, keep your thumbstick centered and press it.
Now, what it doesn't teach you is how to buy. So basically, using your joystick, you could select one of the various categories. Heavy being your LMGs, shotguns, SMGs, self-explanatory, rifles, snipers, everything. Your gear, this would be your armor, diffuse kits, grenades, all sorts of stuff. Pistols. Upgrades being attachments for your gun. So what? I'll go over this next, but I have it binded to trigger to select
To
stuff in
open
your
the
menu.
main menu, hold the menu button and trigger with your non-dominant hand.
All right, menu. Yep. So press your scoreboard button and then pull trigger.
To close the main menu, press the menu button with your non-dominant hand.
Yep.
Proceed through the open doors to continue. Place your dominant hand over the weapon on your hip and press grip.
So
Place your
yeah,
offhand
I'll
over
actually
it.
go through every
Grip the
single
weapon with
weapon
your off.
after this,
Shoot all the
but
targets to continue. Press grip to drop your weapon. Place your dominant hand over your grip the weapon with your off. Shoot all the targets to continue. Press grip to drop your weapon. Place the attachment over the Picatinny rail and hold.
oh yes, if you have an attachment on your chest or you could pick it up off you, I'm going to not put it down. You can actually position it to where you want it, but it doesn't save this. Hopefully in a future update it'll save where you want your sight, but I'll go over this later.
To remove it.
Oh yeah.
To remove the attachment, proceed through the open doors to continue. With your dominant hand,
Yep, grenades.
press grip to release the grenade while throwing
You
it.
throw them. They do that.
Place your hand over the
Oh yes,
Press
what I'm
grip
doing
to
is
release
cooking the grenade.
while throwing it.
If you pull trigger
Place your hand over the
while
grenade.
after you pull the
Press
pin,
grip
you
to
can
release
cook a
the grenade
grenade.
while throwing it. Place your hand over the grenade
through the
pin,
open
hold
doors
the
to
trigger,
continue.
and pull the pin.
My ears. Alright, bomb.
To arm the
Bomb.
bomb, enter the digits that are displayed in the top left corner using your hand.
Yep, so basically, here's something I should know, and a lot of new players don't know this. That is where you put the bomb. Now, you can't just slap it on there and, like, expect it to do stuff. You actually have to type in the numbers. But what you could also do, instead of just standing still and typing in the numbers here, you could actually run at the bomb site and preemptively type in the numbers. Like if you're hot planting, like say some guy's shooting at you, you can actually plant while moving around if I don't fail terribly,
To
and then
defuse
plant.
the bomb, enter the code displayed in the top left corner, or purchase a pair of clippers from the buy menu and clip the wires.
Yeah, if one of your teammate you see runs up and dies in front of the bomb, he might have a defuse kit on him and, drop it in front of it. Now what you do is you hold trigger on the top of the bomb to defuse it. After you cut all three wires, the bomb will be defused. Or you could type in numbers like so. You can also type in numbers if there's a gun in your hand.
Now you're ready for battle. Press grip on the door handle to head back to the shooting range and
Alrighty, welcome to weapon handling. I will go over every single gun and how I use them. 50 cal. Basically just point in the general direction of what you want to be dead. It one shots every, like, you can hit the guy in the big toe and he's dead. So to use this thing, you just aim, shoot. At the back here is a bolt. You pull it up and back. That ejects the spent casing. You put in your new round, which makes your thumb stretch. Throw it on in. Now, the way Pavlov works is they added an animation to put ammo in. So it takes time to go in. There's an animation that goes in. So basically you just have to hold your hand near it and it'll automatically put it in for you. You can follow through, but the problem is if you follow through too hard, it'll just go right through. So it's best to just hold your hand near it until you hear a positive click. Next gun, the AUG. It's a 3-round burst. You can also replace the optic with various attachments. Speaking of which, now's a good time to go over the attachments. What you can do is actually put on various attachments. Now, suppressors actually decrease the amount of money you get in search and destroy. So, use them at your own discretion. They do make your gun slightly more quiet, but it's still noticeable across the map. And like I said, the AUG is 3-round burst, and there's no mag release. You actually have to rip the mag out, throw it in, and rack it back. Now it will, however, lock back on the last round. So you can lock the bolt back here when you're out of ammo. So you just yank it back, tear out the mag, and you can slap it back into battery. That's it. HK slapping on a Austrian gun. But yeah, you could do that. Now, removing attachments. So say you found a gun that has God knows what's on it, this. If you don't like the attachments that are on it, if you hold the gun parallel to you like this, all the attachments will become highlighted. You can pick which ones you don't like. You even grab with trigger and move them around. So put them all the way front if you like, or just ditch it all completely. Same with suppressor. If you don't want to run a suppressor, trigger on it and chuck it away. Something I should mention is I notice a lot of people end up grabbing their sidearm or knife when trying to reload. Now, you don't actually pull grip on your hip to pull out a new mag. You only need to push trigger. Just the trigger button. This isn't like Boneworks where you full grip, meaty grab what's on your hip. You just use your trigger and you'll pull out a new mag. Next gun, the M4. Now, what I like to do with this thing is when I'm out of ammo, due to my low FPS and ping, I usually cock the gun back twice and then throw a new mag in. It saves me the time looking to see if it's actually in battery. You could actually see if there's a bullet in there. And what can I say? This is a very nice, well-rounded gun, good for spraying, and if you can hit your headshots, it'll drop some pretty quick. You can also slap the side of the gun, the bolt release, to put it back into battery. Excellent gun. Oh yes, to select fire modes, switch. So, say if the guy is far away, you could flick over a semi. To do that, you press the bottom button on your right controller. That'll swap it from full auto to semi. Now, something I always do when picking up a gun off an enemy, because I end up losing a lot to the point where I have to scrounge off guns off teammates and enemies, is I always look at the gun to see what fire mode it's on, because it could be on semi, which it is right now, or full auto. So usually I pick it up, flick it a couple times, look at it, and then now you can also switch it to semi if you want to hit a guy over there, like, for more precision. Next, the AK. AK is a nice one. I like it. Use it a lot. A nice feature about it and all AK style guns, including the Galil, is you can actually knock out empty mags with a pre-existing mag, so you can do your tactical Call of Duty reloads. Yeah, pretty neat. The kick on this one's pretty hard, so it's a weird learning curve if you're full auto. Or you could, tap fire. Very fun. Weird learning curve, but great rounded gun altogether. Next is the AK-12. Same function, except it does less damage to the head. Does the same amount of damage to the body. Takes about 4 rounds to drop someone, but with a higher fire rate and I don't know why, higher recoil. So spraying down someone with it, a little more tough with this guy. But what I recommend throwing on it is an angle grip, because this basically it nullifies its vertical recoil, which was already strong enough. It's much more manageable. Very fun gun. Highly recommend. If you put an angle grip. Next, the Galil. Again, another AK. Does less damage, but they're going to add it in the next update, hopefully. Controllable recoil. A lot of people like it. It has attachment points for, red dots, hollows, suppressor. Do whatever you like to it. It's an awesome gun. M16. Oh yes, if you don't want to use your mag release button, which is automatically binded to the top button, so you could pop a mag out, you can also grab the mags on every gun. Like the AUG, the M16 is 3-round burst. It has lower capacity, but less recoil. Not to mention the fact that it already comes with iron sights. The AUG does not. And the ability to put grips on it to negate the recoil even more. Next, the hunting rifle. This thing's fun, like ridiculously fun. It takes 2 shots to down someone, so it's basically a Counter-Strike. I don't know, I've never played Counter-Strike. The Scout there. Basically, it holds 5 rounds, and you have to load each round individually, like the 50 cal. Now, the upside about this thing is it's dirt cheap, and it'll drop someone in 1 headshot or 2 meat shots. Oh yeah, you can also spam it pretty quick if you don't have bad frames like me. There's also bullets on the back, but I always end up ditching them because I sometimes end up grabbing them when pulling the bolt back, which is annoying. And you can also put a suppressor and red dot on it if you want to be cheesy. It's one of the rare guns that actually become quiet if you put a suppressor on it. Next, the G3. Well, SG3. It comes with a scope pre-mounted on it. You can AK tap it for some reason, because that's possible. It's on safe. There's no full auto on it actually, because Well, good luck controlling the recoil when spamming this thing. But what it also can do is you can pull back the bolt on the last round and HK slap it. This thing carries 15 plus 1, or was it 16 plus 1? I forget. But it's a nice spam gun too, up close, but what's the king at is long range suppression. So if you don't want to take your eyes off mid, this is the gun for you. I'm going to skip over the op for now. An alternative to it would be the Scar SSR. It's the same thing, but it only holds 10 rounds with a more predictable recoil. Now the G3 recoils all over the place. The Scar more or less goes up to the left. So if I cock it back here, notice how it jumps over to the left there. Very fun gun to use. You can also put red dots and grips on that to reduce the recoil. Next is the op. They nerfed the op recently, but kinda didn't. What it does now is one-shot anyone who doesn't have armor, but two-shots anyone who does. Now, headshots still are one-shot with this guy, penetrates right through helmets. So if you could hit your headshots, unlike me, they'll drop them pretty quick. It's an excellent gun to use against people who don't have armor, because they'll put them down as fast as a 50 cal. And works great. The SKS is in the buy pool right now, but it is on some push maps. Comes with a ACOG pre-installed on it, welded on a rail for good reasons. Basically the auto snipers, except if I empty a mag here, it uses stripper clips. Put them in the top, feeds them in without any noise, pull it back into battery, and you're ready to go again. You can also use a mag release to drop the bolt. Next, the FAMAS, which is technically the SMG in this game. High fire rate, well, they recently nerfed its fire rate. This thing used to be a chainsaw, but it's a good close weapon, especially if they don't have armor too. You throw a mag in, you can also drop the mag with your mag release button to throw a new one in pretty quick. Charging handles on top. Good for getting up close. Hosing down a guy and reloading quick. Oh, I skipped the RPG because you basically shoot, put a new one in, shoot. Fun. Next are our SMGs. Top one, everyone's favorite, the FMP90. 50 rounds of fun, actually. Again, SMGs are really good for people who don't have armor, as they shred through. Now, P90 is even better for just putting on pressure. Like, if you know there's a guy who's really good on the enemy team, you can just get up close and just start closing him down. It takes a lot of bullets to kill him, but there's a lot of bullets in the gun. Reloading is as simple as taking the mag out of the top, throwing a new one in, racking back the bolt. Awesome little submachine gun. The UMP. Again, this one's basically a full auto 9T11. The bullet velocity is the same as an airsoft gun, which is hilarious. Pretty fun. You can fold the stock on this guy too. Some guns you can fold the stock on. But yeah, awesome gun. Putting an angled grip on it negates all vertical recoil. Against unarmored opponents, it does a really good job. It also gives you highest kill reward. So if you're down on money and you need some kill reward, this thing takes 2 shots to the head to take someone down with a helmet. The PP-19 Bison. This thing was the AK-74U, which actually still has the same stats as it, if I recall, except it now has 45 rounds instead of, 30 of the AK-74U. Now, I don't know if they changed it, but you used to be able to penetrate walls with this thing. It's an awesome little submachine gun. It's an acquired taste. You can put a suppressor on it. Recoil isn't bad. It's very side to side, but it is manageable. You pull off some pretty insane multi-kills with this thing. Next, the MP5. Everyone hates this thing, except me. I use it on say anti-eco because high fire rate, very low recoil. You just hose down people and drop them quick. Now you can't drop the mag with your mag release button. You have to pull back the bolt and slap it down, or you could just put a new mag in, charge the gun back, and you're ready to shoot them. Awesome little submachine gun. Love this thing. The AR-9 or ARP-9. You can drop this one with your mag release button. Now this one is basically a better UMP in all aspects. Better fire rate, better bullet velocity, and the ability to drop your mag quicker. Next on to the shotguns. Well, skip the Super V vector. But here we have your Mossberg. Awesome pump shotty. Shotguns are pretty bad in Pavlov unless you get up close and you just and to reload them, you just hold trigger and like the 50 cal, you wait for the round to slide in. There's no double loading, you just have to slowly put them on in. And that's how you use shotguns. Well, the Mossberg. Next is the Sega 12, which is ridiculously expensive and not worth it, but it's really fun to use. Basically, it's a fully on-max shotgun where you can drop the mag and just... With only 20 rounds, though, you are hindered, but it's just so fun to hold that trigger and spam that into a group of enemies, even though they're probably not going to die because it's a shotgun. Yes, I'm still complaining about shotguns. Please buff them. Next, Spaz 12. Awesome. Well, it's not that good. Unless you could hit all of your pellets on the head, you're not dropping anyone with a single shot. It takes at least 2 to drop someone without armor on the chest and like 4 to kill them with armor. So you have to really hold the center and just keep shooting until they drop. Next, the AS Val, or VSS Venturas, or AS Val M. AS Val modernized, because it has the rail dust cover. This thing is an MP5 with less rounds and harsher recoil. Well, not really that harsh. You basically have to tear out the mag and throw a new one in each time, like an AK. But the upside is you get cool glow irons and a very quick fire rate. But yeah, you're not killing anyone with this thing unless you hit all headshots. The Chris Vector. Awesome. This thing's awesome. There's 2 versions of it. The one used in TTT, which has no recoil, and the one in Team Deathmatch, which has recoil. It has the same damage as the MP5 again, I believe. It takes a lot of rounds to the head to knock off the helmet, so you could hit their soft, meaty dome. But yeah, when they add it, I'm sure a lot of people use it because it's a Chris Vector. The M249. Belt-fed, 5.56mm light machine gun. Some cool facts about it that I learned on the last video. It actually decreases recoil if you crouch down. So this is me crouching. And this is me standing. Holds about 200 rounds in its box mag. To reload it, pull the dust cover up, rip out the empty box, throw a new box in, pull the bullet chain up, which is a lot easier now. It used to be really painful. Slam the dust cover down, rip back the charging handle, and you're ready to have fun. This is a staple weapon of username by Just Jude. He likes using that thing. God forbid you encounter him on the field. Next, AK Shorty. The ultimate save round pistol meme thing. This thing is deadly in close range. Literally, you just get up close and just aim for the head, because it only takes, I think, 2 shots to knock off a helmet. Don't try to stay home, kids. Oh, only 1 shot to knock off someone's helmet. So if you get close and knock off their helmet, you got an instant headshot kill. Uzi. Uzi does it. The Uzi is an open bolt submachine gun. Yeah, fun little thing. I highly recommend using it in pairs, as the recoil harsh even with two hands. It's not much different just if you one-hand it. But what you have to do to shoot this thing is it's open bolt. You have to pull the bolt back and throw a mag in. Because how it fires is when you pull a trigger, it drops the bolt forward, flinging it forward, hitting the round, causing it to fire, and then flying back. So you gotta be careful when using this thing in gun game and other games. Make sure you pull the bolt back, or else you'll be stuck out of battery, and all you'll hear is click. The sawed off. God, what have they done to my baby? This thing used to be so fun to use. In the last video I did, you'd see me slam rounds into this thing because there was no animation to putting rounds in, but now there is. But what you can do is hide around corners, get up close, and double pump them, and then run away or steal their gun. They have nerfed the crap out of this, so you can't like kill people with armor unless you're inside of them. Like you have to be this close and hit all your shots to drop them. But it's still been nerfed to hell with the damage fall off and everything. Pistols. Let's start off with the 5.7. 5.7 is a nice pistol. It does a lot of penetration damage, and to use pistols is very simple. You drop the mag out, throw a new mag in, rack the slide back, you're ready to do some action. Very fun pistol. The Glock. They also nerfed this guy too. They added a delay to the 3-round burst, thank God. This thing used to basically be full auto if you spam trigger. Now they added burst select. Same as the other pistols. You can also switch to semi-auto if you want to use it like that. Nice low recoil weapon. Here we have my favorite, the 1911, won 2 World Wars. Fight me on that statement. Drops people with no armor in about 5 rounds. So if you hit a full mag on someone with like 7 rounds, even if they have armor, it'll pretty much drop them very quick. A little more harsh recoil, but if you get up close, you can pump rounds into them like crazy. 1 shot to knock off the helmet, 1 shot for a headshot. So if you could hit both those shots, you're good for gold. The M9. Fun little weapon if you want to dual wield. It also sounds cool as heck if you suppress it. It's basically a spam cannon. It does the same damage as a Glock, I believe, but without the full auto feature and less harsh recoil. Fun. The Desert Eagle. Takes 3 shots to down someone, unless they're pretty far away, that takes about 4. But harsh recoil. It's a Desert Eagle. If you play Counter-Strike, you know how this thing works. Or even Call of Duty. I'm pretty sure that does things. The revolver. This thing's awesome. I love it. There's no animation to put bullets in, which means you could spam this thing like crazy. You also play Russian roulette with it. Like that. And that's getting me demonetized. Yeah. Now, this thing deviates a bit, so hitting headshots pretty hard, but it only takes 2 meat shots to drop a guy, regardless of armor. But it may end up being 3 at distance, as they nerfed it. They had damage fall off to all the guns. But that's basically the extent of it. To load it, you pop the side open with your mag release button, tilt the gun back to drop out all the rounds, start putting in 5 rounds, flick it to close it, and that'll spin the cylinder, so if you want to play Russian roulette like that, you can, and then pull the trigger, have fun. You can also shoot it really fast. It drops people pretty quick. The Tech 9, basically an AK, and okay, no, that's a lie. It's the most accurate pistol with very low recoil. If you can hit headshots, this is the gun for you, as it'll dominate pistol round with its high capacity and its low recoil. Alrighty, and that concludes part 1. I'll do a part 2 eventually, going into deeper lore. Bye.